I'm at 2771 Bentley Court, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any root intrusion, any structural issues, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. The stack is PVC. Looks like it's been replaced. The old line was copper, so I assume it was cast iron under the floor. So we're going from the stack in the laundry room just to the right of the stationary tub. You can see. And there we've gone into cast iron. So I expect there to be cast iron out until it exits the house. Actually, looks like there's PVC here. Possibly have been replaced. Just past the 90 on the bottom of the cast iron, it would have a little section there. Maybe it was an addition for a bathroom or something, because we are now back to cast iron. The transitions looked good though. They were all nice and tight. Well done. Cast iron, and when we exit the house, I'm expecting it to switch over to 6-inch clay. Cast iron is, this all looks pretty, looks clear and open. Cast iron is just hard to gauge how much time's left in it since it does rust. But this all looks like it's in pretty good shape. There's no large channel on the bottom of the pipe. It all looks wide open. And here we're transitioning into 6-inch clay. You can see where it was put in that some of the cast iron where it was inserted, 4-inch cast iron inserted into the clay, you can see the very top is rusted away, or it was never there. They may have removed a little bit of it to help kind of cone the pipe to insert it into the clay, because you can still see the clay above that, so it's not open to the ground. This is all 6-inch clay. Looks like we have some root intrusion there to the left. It's not a ton, that's pretty minor. There's a little more. That's a little closer to, it's kind of choking down the flow line a little bit, but it looks like it's still flowing free right at that point, but there is a little bit of a choke point. Roots in clay lines are not uncommon. They're only 3-foot sections, so having a lot of opportunity to for those connections when the packing breaks down for roots to get in. So not uncommon at all. But it looks like I just punched through a spot, so this line should drain down. You do have some roots. It's going to need to be cleaned before occupancy. I would recommend to clear the roots so that you don't have any backups, and they will need to be maintained on a regular basis, meaning if it's done well, you can get 3 to 5 years out of them, and there's some other options as far as chemical treatments and or mechanical cleanings to remove the roots. There are long-term solutions, but they're usually pretty expensive. But regular maintenance is something that's recommended for these just to get rid of the roots and then to keep the roots at bay once you've cleaned them. It's relatively inexpensive every few years to just maintain the line. As long as it's keeping its structural integrity, it should be fine. I think we may have gone into some concrete based off of the color change, and that would mean we are off the property and probably getting close to the main. This is a yes, this is concrete. This is at the end of a cul-de-sac, so this is probably coming into the high end of the sewer line in the middle of the cul-de-sac. It may have actually just opened up in the beginning of the main, we'll see. That camera lens is only about a ½ inch off the bottom of the pipe, so that's not much water. The fact that it has stayed above the water line for most of this shows that the line's not holding any water, with the exception of the spot with the roots. It's holding back some water, and since I punched through it, it should be pretty clear when I pull back that the water should have drained down. I think I'm turning to Y into the main now. There we go. Yeah, so it probably came out parallel to the main and then curved around the end of the manhole to tie in past the manhole. It's usually what they do, so that they can clean from the manhole and clear the line in front of the tap. So we've made it 134 feet. We are looking into the main. And the line structurally looked great. We had, like I said, a couple spots of roots, maybe 3. One was heavy enough to require cleaning. And just to note too, you would need some regular maintenance just to ensure that the roots are not causing any issues. A lot of times I recommend maybe getting it cleaned initially and then some chemical treatment once a year for a few years, and then having it checked after 5 years or so, 3 to 5 years, just to kind of see how fast the roots are growing, if they are, and kind of where you're at to know what a better maintenance schedule would be. But all this concrete be the demarcation line between the developer, what they put in as mains, and the line that they brought onto the property, and then the clay would have been what the builder put in and tied into what the developer had put in before the house was here. And so anything, the concrete would have been basically the length of where the concrete starts is where the sewer district would take over responsibility for maintenance. And there we are right there. That's where the main, that is where the concrete starts at about 87 feet. So you got about 40 feet of, roughly 40 feet of concrete. Are 76 feet. It's another minor, just getting in at a joint. It's roughly 75, 76 feet. A little bit more roots there. I'm also looking when I get back into the concrete, or I mean back into the cast iron, looking for possibly another clean out towards the front of the house. There's usually one on the floor. There's some more roots at about 60 feet. You can see the stuff that's loose there that my camera's drugged. Once I went through the worst part of the roots, and it should have allowed the line to drain down a little bit. It carried some of the debris further down. And there we are back into the cast iron. Again, I just want to notice that there is still clay behind that. The rusted away edge of that cast iron is still covered by clay. That is the part that is inserted into the clay exterior 6-inch. And there is the clean out. So I'm going to pause the video here and I'm going to get a locate and verify where this is. It's probably under carpet, but just for the buyer's knowledge, if they ever need to access it, I do want to go ahead and make a mark. So I'll put a piece of tape on the floor approximately where this clean out is. I'm going to pull the camera back just a little bit further. Not sure if that is the clean out or not. Doesn't look like it right there. Yes. And then it turns. So I'm going to stop right here again. We'll double check. Okay, so we put a little piece of duct tape on the floor, gray duct tape with it marked CO for clean out, just in case you ever need access to it. So again, right now the line looks like it's holding shape. Looks like it's all structurally intact. Obviously, with that, there's a little bit of stuff there you can't see underneath it. It usually does wear a little channel, but the cast iron looks like it's holding shape. It doesn't look like it's don't see any holes, any visible holes or anything like that. This is relatively clean. There's not a whole bunch of rust buildup or anything. This does look like this was probably added to tie in maybe a downstairs bathroom or something, because this is that small section of PVC, and then we're back into cast iron and vertical in the stack. So the line overall looks good structurally. The only notable issue I found was just some root intrusion, which is not abnormal. It's pretty normal. Or it's probably you could probably go up and down the street and find most of the houses, if they still have clay lines, they have some root intrusion. I'm going to recommend cleaning now, and then just to put together a rough maintenance schedule. Maybe check it in have it cleaned immediately, and then check it in 3 to 5 years to kind of see where you're at as far as if the roots are growing or how fast they're growing, just to kind of get a handle on how much maintenance it needs and how often. But structurally the line looked good, so that'll end the inspection at 2771 Bentley Court.